Good evening, everyone. Welcome to week 22 of CSTGIA 2026. I'm Dr. Rhonda Farrell, the founder of CSTGIA, bringing you from strategic cyber civilization to strategic cyber sovereignty, reclaiming control in an AI-driven world. Week 22 addresses the next defining question in our series. Once cyber civilization is established, who controls the systems that our civilization depends on? Because in 2026, resilience sustains, dominance shapes, permanence endures, and civilization stabilizes. But sovereignty, well, that determines autonomy. The 2026 reality is that control is becoming the new strategic currency. Around the world, major developments are accelerating. Sovereign AI initiatives, national semiconductor investments, cloud concentration concerns, energy security strategies, critical infrastructure modernization, data localization requirements, digital identity programs, AI governance frameworks. Nations and organizations are increasingly recognizing a critical reality. Cybersecurity is no longer simply about protecting assets. It's increasingly about controlling the conditions necessary for long-term national independence. The question is shifting from can we operate securely to can we operate securely without becoming on others? And sometimes that's inclusive of the global order. The emerging risk, capability without sovereignty. Many organizations now possess advanced cybersecurity programs, AI-enabled operations, resilient infrastructures, mature governance systems, yet remain heavily dependent upon external cloud providers, foreign supply chains, third-party software ecosystems, concentrated compute resources, limited workforce pipelines, and external data environments. The results, capability exists, but control does not. This creates the next maturity challenge. Strategic cyber civilization without strategic cyber sovereignty. So the next evolution must include sovereignty. To lead beyond 2026, organizations must evolve yet again. This means creating systems capable of sustaining operational independence, preserving freedom of action, reducing critical dependencies, maintaining trusted decision authorities, protecting strategic options without disruption. Sovereignty is where civilization gains self-determination. What strategic cyber sovereignty actually looks like? Well, it's not isolation, technical nationalism, or complete self-sufficiency. Instead, it is the ability to maintain control over critical decisions, reduce unacceptable dependencies, preserve strategic flexibility, sustain trusted operations under pressure, shape outcomes without relying entirely on external actors. Sovereignty is not about doing everything yourself. It is about retaining meaningful choice. So 5 moves we need to make towards strategic cyber sovereignty. From number 1, from infrastructure consumption to infrastructure positioning. Organizations increasingly depend on cloud services, AI compute, communications platforms, energy systems, operational technologies. So leaders must ask which dependencies are acceptable and which create strategic exposure, which require, therefore, diversification, because infrastructure positioning becomes strategic advantage. Number 2, from AI adoption to AI autonomy. Many organizations are adopting AI at a rate of many times over the course of a day, but fewer are developing long-term AI independence. This includes AI governance frameworks, trusted training data, explainable AI systems, workforce AI literacy, and strategic control of all critical AI processes and or capabilities. So AI capability without AI autonomy creates and heightens our dependency risk. Number three, from workforce staffing to workforce sovereignty. The cyber workforce shortage remains a global challenge. High-performing organizations are building NICE aligned pipelines, internal academies, apprenticeship programs, continuous learning ecosystems, and leadership succession pathways, because talent sovereignty supports operational sovereignty. Number four, from data protection to data stewardship. Data increasingly drives decisions, AI systems, operations, and trust. So leaders must understand where their critical data resides, who controls that access, how that data supports mission outcomes, and what happens if that access is disrupted. Data stewardship becomes, again, strategic advantage. From operational trust to strategic trust is our last element. And trust now underpins all that we're doing in this AI adoption realm. It also underpins institutional legitimacy, public confidence, and ecosystem participation. So organizations that maintain transparency, accountability, explainability, and governance maturity preserve their freedom to operate. So therefore, trust is becoming a sovereign asset. Our workforce reality is sovereignty is a leadership discipline. It is not necessarily or not only technical. It is organizational. It is economic. It is societal. It is policy driven, and it is leadership centered. It requires leaders who understand dependency risk, strategic positioning, long-term capability development, and ecosystem stewardship, because sovereignty begins with leadership choices. So the strategic implications for 2026 are as follows. Organizations that achieve strategic cyber sovereignty will preserve operational independence, reduce dependency risk, strengthen AI governance maturity, improve workforce resilience, maintain trusted decision authority, protect strategic flexibility, and sustain long-term competitive advantage. Organizations that do not may depend on concentrated providers, lose flexibility during disruption, experience capability erosion, increase systemic vulnerability, struggle to maintain autonomy. The differentiator is no longer capability alone. It is control over critical dependencies. So our week 22 reflection is to ask yourself and your team, what critical systems do we depend upon but do not control? Which dependencies create the greatest strategic risk? How sovereign is our AI strategy? How resilient is our workforce pipeline? What would happen if a critical provider became unavailable tomorrow? So are we building capability or autonomy or both? If the answers are unclear, sovereignty has not yet been designed in. So our week 22 action is to conduct a strategic cyber sovereignty assessment. Choose one critical area: AI, cloud, data, workforce, infrastructure, supply chain. Evaluate who controls it end to end, who influences it, what dependencies or interdependencies exist, and what alternatives are available if you have all your eggs in one basket. And lastly, in that same vein, how resilient is the model? Take one action to reduce your dependency or interdependencies, strengthen one workforce pathway, improve one governance mechanism, and diversify one critical capability, because sovereignty is built before it's needed. So our closing thoughts for today are: the cybersecurity challenge of the past was protection. The challenge of the present is resilience. Challenge of the future is, you guessed it, sovereignty, because in 2026, you are no longer simply defending systems. You are no longer simply sustaining infrastructure. You are no longer simply preserving civilization. You are determining how much control you retain over the future you depend upon. And the organizations that lead will not simply process capability. they will possess the autonomy to decide how that capability is used. Again, this is Dr. Rhonda Farrell, the founder of CSTGIA, wrapping up week 22 from strategic cyber civilization to strategic cyber sovereignty, reclaiming control in an AI-driven world.